Royal tours are a big deal for the British monarchy. Queen of 15 sovereign states as well as the United Kingdom, Elizabeth II has unveiled statues and planted trees around the world. When the occasions demanded it, as head of the Commonwealth of more than 50 countries, she's gone the extra mile. Buckingham Palace knows its role. The Queen overseas is British soft power in action, helping make sure Britain still has clout on the world stage. But an 86-year-old monarch can't do it all on her own. Besides, when there's a bona fide star in your midst, it's just a good idea to send them in your place.
Canada was a huge test for her. It was their first joint overseas tour, her first real public engagement on behalf of the royal family.
Your Royal Highnesses, welcome to the launch of the 2011 Calgary Stampede.
She did not put a foot wrong.
Media interest was enormous, as were the numbers who turned out to see them.
It was a very exhausting, very grueling tour, you know, hopping from one place to another.
Bonne fête, Canada. Happy birthday, Canada.
In Ottawa, in Canada Day, it was the largest ever crowd they'd ever had. And it was a boiling hot day, and there she was in sort of all dressed up in long sleeves and a hat, and it just must have been awful to keep smiling like that.
Crowd screaming, Will and Kate, Will and Kate. Pulling up here. And from my vantage point too, I was struck by her poise. But to get a real up-close sense of the Duchess, nothing beats being one of the crowd, as this simple but revealing footage, shot by a well-wisher in New Brunswick, seems to capture so well.
Hello, really nice to meet you. Oh my gosh, hi. Hello, nice to meet you. Hi guys.
Hi. Come to New Brunswick. Thank you. Thank you.
At one point, Kate even agrees to pose for a photo, handing the camera to her senior aide, provoking some disapproving looks from one of the security officers. Throughout the trip, as throughout the year, her mentor, her main coach, was William.
You really saw in Canada, a lot of the time in engagements, he was guiding her, often physically guiding her through engagements, always checking to see how she was coping, always checking to see if she was handling walkabouts okay and her side of the crowd.
William is totally in control of everything. He's seen what happened to his mother, and he doesn't want that to happen to his wife.
The legacy of Diana, Princess of Wales, continues to cast a shadow over Britain's royals. Given little say or support by the palace in how things were done, her marriage to Prince Charles was not a happy one.
In the early days with Diana, you'd see other members of the royal family quite peeved that Diana was getting all the attention, all the photographers would cluster around her and ignore them. They didn't like it. And eventually her husband didn't like it either. But with Kate, it's a little like, let's help her. This marriage must work. It's, you know, they can't go back to the 90s when they had 3 of the Queen's children split up and got divorced.
Kate does not shy away from the parallels with Diana. She wears Diana's engagement ring, for instance. I'm told she takes the comparisons as a compliment, but she's doing things her way.
The fact that they've said, we don't want a lot of flunkies around, we can do it all ourselves, we'll go to the supermarket. As a result, they're bringing the monarchy much closer to the people.
If the royals have never experienced rush hour traffic, well, we're geniuses out of here in Los Angeles, California. This is just a night.
Perhaps the challenge for Kate and William going forward will be staying close to the people, when the people see them as superstars. As I saw firsthand when their North American tour wound up in California. The screams for the movie stars were substantial.
I love your movie!
But they were nothing compared to those that greeted the arrival of William and Kate. Here in Los Angeles, as nowhere else, the fairy tale sells big.
They've had so much scandal in their family, and now Will and Kate are taking over, and she's beautiful and perfect.
When I heard they were coming out here, I wasn't going to miss it for the world. They seem like such a down-to-earth, nice young couple. I think they're going to bring respect back to the monarchy. I think they're going to save the monarchy, to be honest with you.
Never mind saving the monarchy, this event was about leveraging their celebrity in the service of the British film industry.
The Duke and Duchess, what do you think they're going to get from this evening?
Well, they're not getting from it, in truth, they're giving it. Because they are acting as magnets to try and get all of these executives here tonight.
And have you met the Duke and Duchess before?
Never.
Nerves?
No, I absolutely. They're people you don't meet.
Amid the whirl of receptions and garden parties, LA society turned out in force, impressed, it seems, by the power of royal celebrity.
There was a few dignitaries present, one of them being Reese Witherspoon, Oscar-winning Hollywood actress. She was so excited about meeting Catherine. This is someone who mixes with Hollywood royalty every day, but meeting actual royalty was just an incredible thing for her, and you can see her in this picture sort of almost looking in complete awe at Catherine.
Still to come.
She really has the potential of becoming sort of modern-day Jackie O.
The style defined, when Kate, Duchess of Cambridge, concludes in a moment.
Okay, James, they're leaving. Guys, you should come. They need to come, James. Well, the starting gun has started, I think we can say.
Catherine looked incredible. It was almost like she was born for the role. This moment has kicked off a huge period of excitement in terms of global interest in the British royal family.
And that's the vehicle that's housing right now Prince William and Kate. They're in that Range Rover.
I think her skill is to observe, to take advice from her husband and others in the royal household. And I think at the same time she definitely has a genuine empathy with people, and people respond to her very well.
Oh my God, it was overwhelming. Everybody went crazy. It was just so awesome. She's perfect and beautiful, and I love her.
The thing that I think is wonderful about the Duchess is that she has very much her own sense of self and her own sense of style. This is a big role that she has, and she always seems to get it right.
I think if people are happy in their own lives, then the possibility they will do well in their public eye as well is very important. And as far as I can see, she's doing it beautifully.
I'm only sorry that William can't be here today. He would love it here.
12 months have now passed since Kate Middleton married the future King of England here at Westminster Abbey in London. I'm Max Foster, and as CNN's royal correspondent, I've had a chance to watch Kate close up. A senior royal source has told me that she's completed her induction and has graduated as a fully fledged member of the royal family. It's been quite a year. This is quite relaxed.
Yeah, it looks it, doesn't it?
What's the backstory?
I always wanted to get this picture, and I discussed it with Catherine and with Prince William, and we knew that it was touch and go whether we'd get it. Because everyone behaved so well in the previous photographs, we were lucky enough just to have a few minutes left at the end of the shoot to do this. So I said to Catherine, should we go for it? And she said yes. From getting the yes to do it to taking that picture was about 30 seconds. But actually, when looking at it, there's a sense of calm about it. Every single character you see in here, be it Tom here, Billy here with his foot out like that, and these two, you know, they've just leaned in towards each other, and the hand and the way they're connected, that is genuine spontaneous character, and I think that's why I loved this picture so much.
William and Catherine had announced their engagement less than 6 months earlier.
It's quite a daunting prospect, but hopefully I'll take it in my stride.
When's the happy day?
No idea. Leaving little time to waste to prepare the palace, the abbey, and all points in between for a fairy tale wedding.
We're like sort of ducks, it's sort of very calm on the surface, but the little feet going under the water.
It will be about double checking, triple checking, and checking it again, and making sure that we've got everything in the right places.
Just right from the beginning, Catherine wanted everything to be seasonal, British, elegant, understated, all the things that you would expect of Catherine. She's approached this wedding like few other brides I've ever met. She's approached it with such care.
We made quite a few different variations of fruitcake for them to taste. She showed us her mood board. She had quite a few ideas.
She wanted to be like any other bride, in charge of how her day would go, and I think she was very keen, and so was Prince William, that would not be taken away from her and organised by Buckingham Palace or the royal household. She was incredibly hands-on because she wanted it to be her day, and it was her day.
3 minibuses lined up outside the hotel, lots of people going into the hotel, coming out in hats. Well, this is where I was on royal wedding day. The Goring Hotel is where the bride's family was staying, although I wasn't allowed this close on the day. There was a huge sense of excitement outside, the crowds, the media, everyone waiting to catch that very first glimpse.
Inside, Kate Middleton, as she still was that morning, was getting ready for her date with destiny, as those around her recall.
We were there at 6:30 or so, and we had till sort of 10:30 to get her ready. Up in her suite, there was a real sort of sense of calm, actually. She didn't expect to be sort of treated any differently, and that made me feel very relaxed, and I was able to sort of get on with my job. She didn't want anything too over the top. She wanted to feel herself, and hopefully that was reflected in the dress and in the hair.
For a young bride, if you're not careful, the way you dress the hair, especially with a tiara, it can be quite aging. So that's something that we put a lot of thought into. All these little intricacies that we did on Catherine's hair, sort of the twisting of the sides and sort of the fringe actually just gently coming over the forehead, they are all elements that add to softening that kind of look. But what I loved about that tiara is, for me, it was actually had quite a modern feel to it, and Kate chose it, and I just think that she couldn't have chosen anything better than that.
I was lucky enough to be positioned right outside the front of Westminster Abbey, probably about 30 metres from the front door. I was seriously nervous, and I had to get this picture, the exposure, spot on. As I came out the front door, the crowd roared, and I was just shooting away, and you literally only had a matter of minutes, if that. They paused momentarily on the top of the steps, then walked down to the carriage.
The only word I could find to describe Kate on her wedding day was faultless. I mean, I saw her, I was in the Abbey, and I saw her floating down the aisle, and she just was focused, totally focused, as if she's saying, I'm going to get this right. I'm definitely going to get this right. And she did.
If there was one moment when perhaps it dawned on Kate just what she had become, it was the moment she walked onto the balcony at Buckingham Palace. Wow, indeed. But overawed? Well, certainly not that anyone, even those close up, could see.
From the minute I saw her in the morning, right through to the end of the day, she was as composed as you could possibly imagine. I don't know where she gets her strength from.
How do you do that with that amount of pressure?
I don't know. She's very, very clever. And very special.
Still to come, learning from the past.
This marriage must work. They can't go back to the 90s when they had 3 of the Queen's children split up and got divorced.
When Kate, Duchess of Cambridge, returns in a moment.
I would describe her style as neat, youthful and occasion appropriate. I think she really has the potential of becoming sort of modern day Jackie O.
Every time the Duchess of Cambridge steps out in public, the fashion world is on tenterhooks.
I particularly remember her going to the opening of the Marsden wearing one of our felted wool dresses just because she looked amazing in it and she looked modern and really beautiful.
Best-selling item would be the sledge. The Duchess of Cambridge has worn this shoe a few times on her trip to North America. We have a tough time keeping this shoe in stock.
It's called the Duchess effect, and whether it's couture, like this Diane von Furstenberg dress, or off the peg, like the sledge, no one moves the market quite like Kate. LK Bennett's rapid expansion into the United States, 5 store openings in its first year, with up to 10 more planned for next year, has coincided with the emergence of the Duchess of Cambridge.
When she wears it, the phone in our stores keeps ringing because customers seem to follow her and then they want to wear the product that she's wearing.
After Kate wore this dress from British retailer Reiss when she and William met the Obamas, it sold out within minutes.
She champions British design, not just the designers, but all the way through from the high street.
We're all writing every day about what she's wearing because there is no other story. If it keeps up like this with Kate turning up and people just writing about what she wears, then she'll get a very shallow, trivial image. But that will change inevitably, I think, because she'll be doing more interesting, more challenging jobs.
Those jobs really began earlier this year, when Kate embarked on her first solo engagements. As a new member of the royal family, there was never any doubt she would give her patronage to a number of charities. The palace encouraged her to take her time choosing which ones. Among the causes she settled on were art therapy, addiction, and children's hospices.
Early November, out of the blue, a telephone call. Would we mind if she visited one of our hospices?
Oh, you wouldn't mind at all, I'm sure.
Well, we thought about it and said no, by all means. So she came along and she spent about 4 hours with us, talking about what we did. It was clear when she arrived that she had done a lot of homework.
Because I can be a very teary person.
We read in the papers that she was going around looking at charities and her interests were art and art therapy. So we thought we shouldn't miss an opportunity like this. We wrote a letter and we explained what we did. But she'd actually done her research. She'd already found the art room on the website.
How does that make you feel, Mrs. Carter?
How much financial difference has it made having her on board?
I had a fantastic conversation with somebody who was obviously, they must have so many charities ringing up. And when I mentioned that the Duchess had given us her royal patronage, I was granted an interview within 24 minutes, 24 hours. So it was great, made a huge difference. She really has.
The people around Kate are clearly very impressed by how she's got on. When I talk to them, they describe her as strong-willed and professional. Nothing much phases her, they tell me.
Well, there have been a flurry of public appearances by the Duchess recently, but this is probably the last we're going to have of her in a while, in public at least.
I've observed certain techniques she has for coping with all the attention. She likes to single someone out, perhaps in the welcoming party or in the crowd, and immediately homes in on them. It's her way of blocking out the frenzy around her.
She doesn't look towards cameras. You'll often find that she's always concentrating on the person she's talking to. If she's with Prince William, she always looks towards him. So as a photographer, I will often position myself behind where I think Prince William's going to be, because I know I'll get the most eye contact.
She's very aware of who's there, where they are, there's no doubt about that, but she's definitely more interested in putting on a good performance for the people she's there for to support than the media.
The final test in this first year as a royal was the performance of her first public speech. And it epitomised Kate. If it was delivered slowly, perhaps even laboured in places, that's because she was determined not to fluff it.
When I first visited the hospice in Milton, I had a preconceived idea as to what to expect. Far from being a clinical, depressing place for sick children, it was a home. Most importantly, it was a family home. A happy place of stability, support and care. It was a place of fun.
But it's not really about oratory anyway. Kate seems to connect with people in a more fundamental way, making a particular impression I've seen on young people.
I mean, she's made me more interested in royalty, I think, more interested in the royal family.
Newcomers, definitely a big fan.
And I think because she came from an ordinary background, it makes us really interested in her. That she used to be like us.
Even though she's royal, she understands us as a person, and we understand her.
So the Duchess of Cambridge, the saviour of the British monarchy? Well, it's too early to say that, but as she and Prince William settle in here at Kensington Palace, where he lived as a boy, it's clear she has support from the top down.
People forget the Queen may be monarch. She's also a mother and a grandmother and a very human person. Of course she wants her grandson and her grandson's wife to be successful, and of course she offers help, and they'd be foolish not to take it. Now, plainly, one can, even looking from the outside, one can see what a good relationship actually exists there.
They seem genuinely happy and comfortable in each other's company, whether it's watching a fashion show or visiting a university or on a girls' day out at Fortnum's.
I love chocolate, yes. I think most girls like chocolate. Yeah.
I think the Queen is delighted that her grandson has married someone who he seems so well suited to, who has been able to adapt to conditions in the royal family in that new role.
And as for Kate's father-in-law, Prince Charles, well, he and Kate are very close, I'm told. They make secret visits to the opera and art galleries together, sharing a passion for the arts that neither William nor Harry truly share. At joint engagements, they've developed something of a double act.
His man's got a moustache and an eyebrow.
He, the old duffer, she, the competent young woman. Everyone, it seems, is desperate to make sure history doesn't repeat itself. Because no matter how appealing the fairy tale, alternative storylines do exist.
It's a hard, horrible life. I mean, everybody thinks it's wonderful. Oh, you have a luxurious life. No, you don't. It's a golden prison that you live in for the rest of your days. But Kate's opted for it, and she must know what she's in for, because she knew William for 9 years. I figure she feels that it's worth it. If you love the man enough, you'll put up with it.
I think she does enjoy it. She seems very happy whenever she's out and about. You never get a sense of her being uncomfortable, actually. She looks very easy in her own skin. I think she must be enjoying it.
I hear you. Can you hear me? Kate Middleton embarked on a remarkable journey a year ago.
To find whatever you do is the subject of publicity, whatever you wear is the subject of comment. It's not easy at all.
As Duchess of Cambridge, she's now a global superstar, though she wears her power lightly.
There is that respect that they have for who they are and where they are. Even with all that, you've still got the sensitivity of the way they're holding hands and the smiles.
History and the weight of expectations might seem daunting, but the young couple will take their time, determined to write this story themselves.